Waitress saves screaming child from judgmental diners. What she did will amaze you. Hey, beautiful souls, your support absolutely lights up my world. Hit that subscribe button to join our growing family of story lovers. It means everything. Here's my promise. I personally reply to every comment because I genuinely love connecting with you. So tell me, where are you watching from today? I can't wait to chat with you. Now, let's dive into this extraordinary tale together. The restaurant hummed with its familiar symphony, conversations weaving through the clink of silverware, laughter punctuating the gentle jazz that drifted from hidden speakers. But cutting through this orchestrated evening was a sound that made Maya's blood freeze. A child's scream, raw and desperate, like something being torn from the very center of his being. Maya had worked these tables for 7 years. She knew the difference between a tantrum and anguish, between defiance and desperation. This was the latter, a sound that seemed to claw at the air itself. Her eyes found the source. A well-dressed man hunched over a table, his hands trembling as he reached toward a boy of perhaps 10. The child's face blazed crimson, his small fists gripping his chair so tightly his knuckles had gone white. His father's whispered words fell like leaves in a hurricane, unheard, ineffective, heartbreaking. The other diners had begun their ritual of judgment, glances sharp as knives, whispered commentary masked as concern. Maya watched the father's shoulders curl inward with each sideways look, saw how he aged years in moments under the weight of their disapproval. Something deep in Maya's chest, a place where her own childhood fears still lived, recognized the father's expression. Not anger, not frustration. Pure, undiluted terror that he was failing the person he loved most. The boy's cries crescendoed, and Maya found her feet moving before her mind caught up. The marble floor felt solid beneath her, an anchor in the storm of sound and judgment swirling around her. "Can I get you anything to help him calm down?" Her voice emerged softer than she'd intended, but steady. The father's head snapped up, his eyes wide with the kind of exhaustion that sleep could never cure. "I don't know what to do anymore," he whispered, the words scraping his throat raw. Maya's gaze moved to the boy, really looked at him. His anguish wasn't performed, it was primal, unstoppable, like a tide that had found its shore. "It's okay," she said, though her heart hammered against her ribs. "We'll figure this out." The weight of 20 pairs of eyes pressed against her back, but Maya had learned long ago that judgment was a luxury she couldn't afford, not when someone needed her. Back at the service station, Maya's hands moved automatically, refilling water glasses, delivering bread baskets, but her attention remained tethered. Boy, now, Maya saw the same signs. The way his eyes darted, seeking escape from stimuli only he could feel. The rigid set of his spine, as if he were bracing against an invisible assault. This wasn't defiance, this was survival. She approached again, her movements slow and deliberate. The father looked up, hope and desperation warring in his expression. "You're doing your best," Maya said, the words carrying more weight than their simplicity suggested. "You're not alone in this." He blinked as if she'd spoken a foreign language. "I'm trying," he managed, "but nothing works. Nothing helps." Maya knelt beside the boy's chair, making herself small, unthreatening. "Sometimes all we need is a little help finding something that works for them. It's not easy, but it's not your fault either." The father's shoulders crumpled, and Maya felt the full weight of his defeat. Around them, the restaurant held its collective breath, but Maya had tunnel vision now. Nothing existed except this child's pain and her desperate need to ease it. Her eyes caught something on the table's edge, a small fidget toy, its bright colors dulled by anxious fingers. Maya had seen similar objects work magic before, providing an anchor in overwhelming storms. Moving with the careful deliberation of someone approaching a wounded animal, Maya reached for the toy. She knelt at the boy's eye level, her voice barely above a whisper. "Hey there, I think this might help. It's a little toy that can keep your hands busy. Would you like to try it?" For a heartbeat, the world stopped. The boy's eyes, wide and dark and full of unnamed fears, focused on her face. His screams hiccuped into silence, as if her calm had created a pocket of peace in his chaos. His father's hand settled on his shoulder, a silent permission. The boy's gaze dropped to the fidget toy, and slowly, so slowly Maya forgot to breathe. His trembling fingers reached out. The moment his skin made contact with the textured surface, something shifted. His breathing, which had been sharp and panicked, began to even out. His grip on the chair relaxed fraction by fraction. The constant motion of spinning and clicking seemed to create a rhythm his nervous system could follow. The father's eyes filled with tears he'd been holding back for hours, maybe years. "Thank you," he whispered, his voice thick with gratitude. "I don't know what to say. This has never happened before." Maya smiled, feeling something warm expand in her chest. Sometimes all it takes is finding something small that makes a big difference. But she could see the fragility in this moment, how the calm balanced on a knife's edge. The boy's body still carried tension, and his father's relief was tempered by the knowledge that this was one victory in an endless campaign. The restaurant around them seemed to exhale, conversations resuming their gentle murmur. But Maya remained close, watching for signs that the storm might return. It did, slowly. The boy's breathing grew shallow again, his grip on the toy tightening as some invisible pressure built inside him. His father's face hardened with familiar dread. "I'm sorry," the father whispered, his voice breaking. "I never meant for this to happen. He's never like this in public." Maya's heart clenched. "It's not your fault. You're doing everything you can." The father looked at his son with such profound love and sorrow that Maya had to look away. I don't know how much longer I can keep going like this. Every day is a struggle, and I don't want him to feel like he's a burden." The words hit Maya like a physical blow. She understood then that this went deeper than one difficult evening. This was a father carrying the weight of constant uncertainty, of never knowing if he was enough. The boy's distress began climbing again, and Maya scanned the restaurant desperately. Her eyes landed on the large aquarium tucked into the corner, its gentle bubbling barely audible above the ambient noise. Fish moved in lazy patterns behind the glass, their movements hypnotic in their simplicity. "Would you like to try something else?" Maya asked. "How about we walk over there for a minute? The fish might help calm him down." The boy's attention had already shifted toward the tank, his eyes widening with interest. The father, seeing this spark of curiosity, nodded and stood slowly. They moved together across the restaurant, father, son, and waitress, creating their own small procession of hope. The boy still clutched his fidget toy, but his steps were steadier now, drawn by the promise of something beautiful and peaceful. At the aquarium, magic happened. The boy's breathing deepened as he watched angelfish drift between artificial coral. The constant motion of his hands stilled. His father stood behind him, one hand resting protectively on his shoulder, both of them mesmerized by the underwater ballet. Maya stepped back, giving them space while keeping watch. The sight of them, father and son sharing this moment of genuine peace, filled her with a satisfaction she hadn't expected. She hadn't solved everything, but she had given them this, a respite from the storm. The father turned to her, his face soft with gratitude. "Thank you. I don't know how to explain what this means." Maya smiled warmly. "You don't have to. Sometimes it's just about finding the right thing to focus on." As the evening progressed, the crisis passed like weather. The boy remained calm, his attention moving between the fish and his fidget toy, creating his own rhythm of peace. His father's posture gradually relaxed, the constant vigilance in his eyes softening to simple watchfulness. When they prepared to leave, the father approached Maya one final time. "I feel like I'm always failing him," he admitted quietly. "I don't know how to make him feel like he's not a burden." Maya's voice was steady and kind. "You're doing your best, being here for him, trying different things. That's not failure, that's love." The father's eyes welled with emotion. "I don't know how much longer I can keep doing this." "You're not alone," Maya said simply, "and neither is he." As father and son walked toward the exit, the boy calm, the father's arm around his shoulders, Maya felt a profound sense of completion. She hadn't fixed their larger struggles, but she had reminded them both of something vital, that kindness existed in the world, that understanding was possible, that they didn't have to face their battles alone. The restaurant settled back into its evening rhythm, but something had changed. The other diners seemed more aware, more gentle. Perhaps witnessing compassion in action had reminded them all of their better selves. Maya returned to her duties, but the warmth in her chest lingered. She had learned something tonight, too, that the smallest acts of kindness could create ripples far beyond their immediate impact. That sometimes being present for someone in their darkest moment was the most powerful gift you could offer. As she turned off the lights and locked the restaurant door hours later, Maya carried with her the image of a father and son walking into the night together, no longer quite so alone in their journey. And in her heart, she knew that this was enough, more than enough. It was everything.